Right, ladies and gentlemen, in our next panel, we're going to showcase the power of women in art, culture, and innovation. And to take us through this discussion, please welcome to the stage illustrator Nora Zeid, Menna elKiey, lyricist, writer, and creative director, Sharifah Alhinai, cultural advisor, founder of Sekka and Khaleeji Art Museum, and your moderator, Layan, editor and researcher at Forbes Middle East.
Hello, everyone. How is it going? I need the under 30 spirit. Come on. Great. That's the spirit. Perfect. So I'm actually super excited for this panel because I have 4 amazing ladies who are doing great into their own fields. They come from different backgrounds, different fields. They are so young, but they have their mark around the region. And I would like to actually start with Nora. Nora is an amazing illustrator. I'm actually a big fan of her. And all of her art and illustrations represent the culture, our culture in the region. And she has actually a huge impact in that regard. So, Nora, can you tell us how did you start? What drew you into art? And tell us a little bit about your journey.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's such an honor to be here. So thank you very much. So a little bit about my journey. So what really drew me into art at first was just a desire to understand the world around me. Things move very fast. They did back then, and they do now, and much faster every single day. And so illustration and drawing was a way for me to take it in, slow down, and digest what I'm experiencing, and then potentially share it with others. But the thing that really was a turning point in my journey was when I applied for the critical practice program at Tashkil. And I got accepted. I was very surprised because I was very young at the time. I just applied and I told my friends, I'm going to get rejected. That's khalas. Like, I'm just doing this, but I'm going to get rejected. And so when I got in, it was such a nice surprise. And so for context, Tashkil is an arts institution that was founded by Her Excellency Sheikha Latifa bint Maktoum. And they provide support for emerging talents. And through this program, they provide mentorship and resources. And so during that time, I was able to really focus on my research and on developing my illustration approach and style, and specifically my research around urban heritage, and specifically Cairo's urban heritage, and was able to put together my very first exhibit, Cairo Illustrated Stories from Heliopolis. So that was the real turning point. And it was a turning point in that I kind of paused on being inspired by Western art and design, and I started being inspired more by our history, by our culture, and by our future.
That's really interesting. And you know, you're one of the people who actually believe in the power of art in transforming societies and transforming the future and the culture of societies. So can you tell us a little bit about your artwork? How is it contributing to that? And how is it contributing to the culture of the region? You mentioned that you're focusing more now on the region and on your society. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. It's a very good question. Okay, I'm gonna go off topic for a bit, but like, bear with me. I swear I have a point. I'm a bit of a foodie. Me and my friends are huge foodies, so we love to try different cuisines. Filipino cuisine, Levantine cuisine, Indian cuisine, Japanese, Korean, whatever it is. But our favorite thing is fusion foods. And when we go and we try a dish that has different textures and different flavors from different cuisines. And it's always a little strange. We're like, this is new, we're not used to it, but it's always good. And I think that's very, very similar to the cultural landscape here in the UAE, in that we're all very different, but we bring the best of ourselves and our culture and our history and our cuisines and our art to the table. And that has really impacted the scene, and it's also impacted me, and it's impacted the way that I work. It's practically my DNA at this point. So that when I collaborate with different people from different fields, different backgrounds, but also different fields, we all bring the best of ourselves to the table, so that we can create something that's more impactful. And when it comes to my illustration specifically, the way that I hope to impact the cultural landscape is that, again, to go back to my main point, things move really, really fast. And things are developing so quickly, faster than we can get used to them. And so my illustrations, most of them are static, so they're an invitation for us to slow down and take it in. And just kind of take pause, look around us at the places that we're in, the different stories that we are experiencing, how our stories overlap, and to kind of reflect before we start moving again, so that when we're moving again, we're moving with intention. It's not just moving for the sake of moving. So that's what I'm hoping to contribute through my illustration.
Absolutely. And actually, I want to move to my next panelist, who's Nadine. Nadine is the founder of Diva'Me. Actually, one of the very few companies in the region who are actually working for women empowerment. Her work and what they do is really amazing. And I'll let Nadine actually explain what they do exactly. But Nadine, can you tell us about Diva'Me? What do you guys do? And can you also tell us about how the story has evolved over the years around women empowerment, and how has it changed when you first started and now?
So firstly, I'd like to thank you for having me here. So Diva'Me. Firstly, I'd like to say every woman has a diva in her. And what do I mean with that? At the end, every woman is capable of controlling and doing anything and everything that she wants. So Diva'Me came from a very personal story, an experience from my own self, where I felt that I was unable to take care of myself because I didn't know what to do. So when I first got my period, no one was there for me, and I didn't know what a period was. And when I shared this experience with many women, I wasn't the only one. So that's where I knew that there is something missing, a gap. So yes, throughout the years, there has been a transformation when it comes to women's empowerment. I'm seeing a lot of things being moved from being a stigma and a taboo to being a little bit open. So I'll give an example. Right now, there's a very trending topic, family building and fertility. It's a beautiful topic, and women, because we get our period on a monthly basis, we're able to conceive and have a beautiful family. But there's one thing that I've realized. A lot of women think that if they don't get regular periods or if they miss their periods, that's okay, because they were ashamed to go and consult with someone, and that's not okay. You know, it's your body, and that's what makes us women. That's what makes us different from men. So at Diva'Me, we have launched a beautiful range of period fashion. What is period fashion? Every woman has that fashion sense in her. And our period fashion contains period swimwear, beachwear, and period underwear. And what makes it different? So imagine pads and tampons that you have been aware of for all of the decades and centuries, but they're reusable and fashionable, made with organic materials such as bamboo fiber and as well cotton. And you can wear it up to 8 hours. It's reusable, sustainable, and it's fashionable. And then when we go back to women empowerment, through Diva'Me, we do very educational sessions, blogs, and speaking as well sessions. And what do we talk about mainly? We talk about educational topics such as what periods are. And we are very much understanding, because I've been there and I don't want any other woman to struggle. And when I'm talking about women, I'm talking about when I got my first period. I want every teenager, when she gets her first period, to be aware of what a period is and to know what to do and to know what is okay and when it's time to go and consult with a doctor.
That's great. And you mentioned that your products are sustainable, which not a lot of companies take into consideration when it comes to conventional products. So can you tell us about the key issues when it comes to sustainability, and how are you actually tackling that?
Did you know pads and tampons can take up to 800 years to decompose? Now imagine the planet Earth. There are 50% of the population who are women. On an average, a woman gets her period every month, 35 days. And the period lasts for 6 days. Now imagine. It's very simple, right? Going to a grocery store, grabbing a pack of pads, putting it on and throwing it. You don't think about it that much. But the reality comes. Imagine every woman who's decomposing, throwing that, pad in the garbage bin. Where does it end up? In the landfill. And unfortunately, we've been looking to help planet Earth. Climate change has been another trending topic. We're moving to electric cars. We're moving to reusable items for daily usage. But we forget the main part that we use on a monthly basis. a pad, and a tampon. They take up to 800 years to decompose in the landfill. And why is that? It's because it's made up to 90% of plastic. So the vaginal tissue is very absorbent. So that plastic, you're absorbing it on a monthly basis, and then you're also throwing it in the landfill at the end. So not only are you harming yourself, your body, and also planet Earth. So at Diva'Me, we want to battle that taboo. We want to let every woman know, and we want them to know that there is a solution, and that is with reusable and sustainable period fashion, which we offer. So we have a beautiful range of more than 20 styles of period panties, period swimwear, and period beachwear. And then as well as at the moment, we did something very new, very recently, which is we have a beautiful packaging. It's not plastic. Our materials as well that we use in the manufacturing process is cotton and bamboo fiber, and our packaging is not plastic. We have a beautiful cartoon pack, and we did something recently where you can return this package to us and you can get a discount on your next purchase. And right now we're as well launching a beautiful intimate care made with zero nasties, zero chemicals, because we care for every woman out there, and there's a diva in every woman. Thank you.
That's a beautiful message. Thank you, Nadine, for sharing your story. And now allow me to actually move to Menna. A lot of us know Menna's work. I'm sure all of us have heard some of the songs that she writes. She's going to tell us more about it now. She's also a writer and a creative director. So you are a really, really creative person doing so many things at the same time. So can you tell us, how did you actually join this industry? How did you start? And what drew you into this industry?
Thank you, Layan. First, allow me to say hi to everyone and thank you for giving us a listen. So for those who don't know me or my work, let me give you a very short introduction. I'm a lyricist, previously and still am a creative director. I got into the advertising scene more than 10 years ago, and then because of advertising, it took me to the music industry. Lucky for me, I ended up writing a few songs that some of you may know, like الغزالة رايقة اليوم الحلو ده اختياراتي مدمرة حياتي سايرين يا دنيا, and other songs. Thank you. So how did I start? I always knew I wanted to be a writer. This is something I knew at core ever since I was literally a child, like as long as I can remember identifying as anything. I did identify as a writer, but I didn't know what kind of writing. Sometimes I felt like I wanted to become a novelist, other times I wanted to become a scriptwriter, other times I would say like opinion articles, I would get into politics, I would get into, and then I found an interest in the advertising industry, and because of advertising, the new trend was that advertisements started shifting from like a scene that is being acted by the models or the actors to jingles and songs, right? So I was kind of forced into it. Like it was more of a survival thing that I had to learn how to write songs and jingles, because otherwise I would lose my job as a junior copywriter, right? And it was amazing. Like the moment I started writing music, writing lyrics, literally this was the only time I felt like I felt so complete as an artist. Like this is what I wanted to do. Seeing people dance and have a good time to something that I wrote was like, it was the best feeling ever. I just felt like this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I still relate as, like, I feel like I'm an amateur doing, like enjoying their hobby. I never relate to myself like someone who's professionally doing this. And I feel that this is the best place where every artist should be. Like you still enjoy. I'm sure everyone here would relate to what I'm saying. Like I still feel like a child enjoying their music. I still feel extremely intimidated every time I'm stepping into a new project, and I still get head over heels happy every time any of my songs. Like when I meet someone and they say, I love this song, it puts me in a good mood, or I can relate to this or that, this is by far the best feeling I get out of it. And this is, I think, what I want to do for the rest of my life, I guess. So.
That's really beautiful, and I think what's better than enjoying your job and loving what you do. That's the best thing. And Menna, as a woman working in this industry, can you tell us how do you see your work contributing to women empowerment? How is it actually empowering other women in the region?
Okay, I'll answer this question. So I'm in an industry where there are not many women, or there are actually a few, but they're not known.
Not as many.
They're not known. Like everyone who's famous in the songwriting industry, you'd find it would be a man. And the moment I started, I wasn't aware of that because I don't have that minority mindset. I just relate as an artist, like as a poet, as a lyricist. I never saw gender as part of the equation, like, you know what I mean? And then for forever and ever and up until today, I would get approached and asked about being a female writer, and it would confuse me, like, why does it matter? You know what I mean? Does it mentioning, you know what I mean? Like, when I compete or when I express or when I work,
you're doing it as an artist, not as a female artist.
Exactly, I'm doing it as an artist. However, I realized that because I was so unaware of this thing that it was an elephant in the room for everyone else but myself, I always felt like intimidated as an artist because I wanted to prove myself and not as a woman. So I think this was the most powerful element, that I was so unaware. I didn't let that minority mindset that everyone else saw in the industry except for myself. I think this is what made it work for me, and I think this is what actually helped me just be present in the field. And then I felt like maybe we as women or artists in general should practice more, preach less, because we see people everywhere talk about empowerment and this whole being a minority and so forth. And then I feel like the most inspiring stories would be the ones that you see even if they don't say anything, but I guess their work does it and their journey does it, and this is where all the inspiration comes from. So for me, first thing and the most important thing is to never have a victim or a minority mindset. I feel that this, as an Arab, as a woman, as I don't know your age, it doesn't matter, regardless of the circle you belong to or relate to, you just do not look at yourself like you are a minority in a bigger bunch. Just relate to yourself as an artist or someone who has something to say, and I think this is the most powerful place you can be.
Absolutely. Thank you, Menna, for sharing this with us. Allow me to move to my next panelist, who is Sharifah. Actually, Sharifah used to be my old boss before joining Forbes. I was an intern at Sekka magazine, and I think I've witnessed something amazing. And my current boss is there. He's sitting, hiding there. What Sekka and what Sharifah is trying to do in the Gulf region is amazing. They are trying to focus and shed light on Khaleeji art. What they are doing is really, really inspiring. And I will allow her to actually tell us about this, her story and what they are doing. Like Sharifah, if you can tell us a little bit about Sekka, the Khaleeji Art Museum, and about how you are actually trying to transform the Gulf region through the work that you do.
Well, hello everybody. It's lovely to be here today, and thank you so much, Layan, for your kind words. So, I wear multiple hats. I am the founder of Sekka, and Sekka is a media company that is based in London that is aimed at amplifying the voices of young Arabs, and we are proud that in the last now 8 years, I can't believe it, we have been able to help young Arabs' voices reach millions of people around the world. And in addition to that, I'm also the founder of the Khaleeji Art Museum, which is the first digital museum dedicated to art of the Arab Gulf states. Its mission is similar to Sekka, but this time its focus is to shed light on the work of artists from the region and to build cultural bridges through that. And I'm also serve as a cultural and creative industries and strategic communications advisor because of the expertise that I've gained over the last 8+ years in these cultural fields. Now, you wanted to speak about the power of art,
yes,
right?
the power of art and also transforming societies as well, especially with your focus on the Gulf region.
Right. So art, as we know, has this incredible power to initiate societal transformation or achieve societal transformation. This is something that we've seen time and time again across different geographies and throughout history. Art not only tells us who we are as a society, or artists don't only tell us who we are as a society, but what they aspire our society to be like as well. And the situation is no different when it comes to the Gulf region. Young artists especially are using their art to challenge or to question long-held societal norms, things such as beauty standards or racial and ethnic stereotypes, to name a few examples here. And their art is, young artists' art from the region is very impactful and very effective oftentimes. And one of the reasons for that is because many of them share their work on social media to audiences of thousands and sometimes even millions, which means that they have the ability to alter the thinking of thousands and millions of people in the region and across it. And that's such an incredible thing to be able to do, and that's such a powerful thing to be able to do. And we just, when it comes to the Khaleeji Art Museum, for example, we just want to provide them with a further platform to be able to do that and to sort of introduce them to greater audiences around the world as well, and to seek opportunities for them to have their work sold, to have collaborations done with the right partners, because there's an incredible power in having collaborations to send your messages across as well.
Absolutely. And Sharifah, I remember 4 years when I was still working at Sekka, the entire team were all of them women, including your co-founder, your sister, Menna. And I don't know the situation right now, but you guys have started, as you said, you've started this idea of empowering artists in the Gulf region. Since then, or since you started until now, how have you seen the role of women in, transforming the creative industry in the Gulf region?
So my work at Sekka and the Khaleeji Art Museum and as an advisor often puts me in the room with a lot of leaders in the creative industry. And it has enabled me also to collaborate with them, to work very closely with them. And over the years, I've discovered that a lot of the leaders that are shaping the creative industry in the UAE and in the wider Gulf region are actually women. And one thing that I've consistently noticed amongst these women, whether I've spoken to them or I've spoken alongside them in panel discussions or I've worked closely with them, is that they are in the right place. And I say this without exaggeration, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm not prone to exaggeration. They are in the right leadership positions that they are in because they often bring with them new and fresh approaches, and they bring with them a depth of knowledge and this sort of can-do attitude. And some of these women that I've gotten to meet over the years have included Her Excellency Menna, who was the previous Director General of the Sharjah Museums Authority, and Maya Allison, the current Director of the NYU AD Art Gallery, as well as art curators such as Dr. Aisha Stobi and Sumaya Suwaidi. And all of these women, if we're going to talk about specifically the field of art or the sector of art, these women are reshaping the field as we know it. And honestly, it's such a privilege to be able to live in this time and age and to see increased female representation in the creative industries. And what that actually means and what that actually looks like, because that wasn't always the case. Historically, internationally speaking, the creative industries were dominated by men. But the reality today in the UAE, in the wider Gulf region, is very, very different. And it's honestly an exciting time for a woman to be in this field today.
Exactly. Thank you so much to my panelists, not just for sharing their stories, but actually for trying to change into their own unique ways the situation and the future of young women. All of you are contributing into your different fields. You come from very different backgrounds, and I've been personally touched by every one of you. Thank you so much for being with us and for all the amazing work that you are doing.
Thank you, Layan, for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.